a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
I'm Christina Kahn.
And I'm Leela Hilton.
And this is Burn Before Reading, the podcast about literature.
Yay, here we are again to discuss the terrible, terrible writing we did when we were younger and touch on some other cringy literary topics.
With us today is our friend Fawna, host of Cat's Tea and Witchcraft. Say hello to the listeners, Fawna.
Hello, everyone. I have not been on this podcast yet, but I've been on one of the others.
Yeah, so your voice may be familiar. You've also been on our network sibling, Content and Capable. I remember that episode as well. That was awesome. And honestly, we should probably get you... Wait, do you watch scary movies, or are you one of those non-scary girls? Okay,
No,
we
I
should
like
get
scary
you...
movies.
We should get you on Super Scary, which is our scary movie.
Oh, that would be
podcast.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that. I was thinking, what should me and husband do that? Do something similar. Like, that would be cute.
I know someone who could get you in on the Community.
Oh, that'd be fun.
So anyway, Fawna, tell the listeners a little bit about your podcast.
Okay, so my podcast, for those who have not heard about it before, Cat's Tea and Witchcraft is a podcast about witchcraft and a bunch of other similar topics.
The title does kind of say it all.
Yeah, a little bit. Not as much cats besides the ones in the background, or if we go over things that are associated with that, or tea, and we've talked about tea and other aspects. But those are two things I really like, plus witchcraft. So that's where I came up with the name. But I go over different things like religion, or things that are associated with spirituality, or popular topics, or things I just want to rant about. Christina's actually been on that podcast, and we talked about emoji magic, even though that's not something that's like a thing.
Emoji magic
can be a thing. It was kind of more of the idea of talking about language and how language evolves in writing, and how symbols are used, and how technically the younger generations have used and developed ways of communicating through emojis. So it's not something you can't do.
If I was like a practicer of witchcraft, and I wrote a spell, Leela, that had like your Bitmoji with like a death, like skull and crossbones, and like knife, and then I did spell stuff, like set it on fire, whispered into the wind, or whatever, there's meaning in that.
There is meaning within symbolism and writing, and emojis is a form of communication and writing, and even that could be kind of a cringy thing, but like.
Oh yeah, speaking of a cringy thing, Leela.
Fawna, what has been cringing you out this week?
Oh, I have one thing that happened this week, and then there is something crazy that happened on our honeymoon a couple weeks ago.
Ooh, okay, you can definitely do both, because we have to come on the show every week and we run out of stuff quick, but you get to do both.
Cool. Okay, so yesterday I was at the post office. I was mailing out a booklet to my grandfather, and I was standing in line. It wasn't super busy, but there was like two clerks, and one of them was kind of full-time in the front, and the other one is kind of going back and forth for maybe like other things in between. And there was this Karen lady in front of me. We weren't waiting very long. It was like maybe 5 minutes, which is like the shortest I stood in that line at that particular post office. And she was huffing and she was puffing, and you can hear how upset she was with her blonde hair and her spray tan skin, even though I'm technically also spray tanned. It's just her attitude.
Yeah, but if you're a bitch, we're gonna make fun of it.
It was so much worse with the combination of everything. And she gets up there and she's like, I gotta return this package. And the lady's like, okay. And then she's like, this is for UPS. This is USPS.
Oh my God.
And she's like, what do you mean?
What
and then she's like, well, you gotta go down the street, and well, where are those places?
And today that they're different places.
Yeah. And I go up to the lady when it's my turn. I'm like, I am so sorry you had to deal with that. Like, she was huffing and puffing back there too. And she's like, well, the karma came back to her real quick. And I'm like, It was super funny.
Yeah, I love instant karma.
Oh, it was great. And the honeymoon one, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. So we are on the third third city that we were at in Italy. And we were in Sicily, and I can't remember if it was like, it might have been like the second night. No, it might have been the first night, because we saw this group of people down there from like England and everything, and we're like, okay, a bunch of like a traveling group or something. Because it looked like they were still kind of getting to know each other, or maybe they were like traveling with like friends and the friends' moms and stuff. I don't know. We saw them, we went to dinner, we came back, and then all of a sudden, maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, these ladies are hammered, screaming at each other. And we can hear it through our balcony, because we're in this small, like, little beach resort hotel. So everything's older, everything's kind of closed, everyone's windows are open facing the beach and everything. And then these ladies legit got into a fight, pushing each other, screaming at each other. One lady's like, you pushed me 3 times and I pissed my trousers. And me and husband are like, what is going on? It kind of quieted down for a minute, and then we heard noises that sound like someone got hit. So,
oh my god,
like a giant smack.
Noises like either someone pushed someone and like rammed into someone. It was wild. And then we had to like go tell the little Italian lady that doesn't speak fluent English down, like, there's a fight a couple hallways down there. We're trying to like keep an eye but not get involved, because we don't want to get involved with something like that in a foreign country, but also make sure that lady doesn't get hit. She's already called the police because she equally heard the noise. And that was wild. It was very cringy, but kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah, I love other people's drama. Like, God, catch me on the balcony with a glass of wine, just like, oh, y'all fighting?
Yeah, it was crazy. And it only lasted maybe 10, 15 minutes, but it was loud enough, and we're like, this entire area of the resort could probably hear it.
Yeah.
And the one next to us.
Yeah, shit carries.
Yeah.
Damn, very good cringes. Lila, what's been cringing you out lately?
This is not necessarily an appropriate use of the word cringe, I think, but
It's okay,
I
we
can't think of
stretch it.
anything else. So my sweet little cat Pam, she
it's not cringe.
Yeah, she we're very lucky. She'll be, I think she's almost 7, and we've never really had any kind of like health issues with her, like at all, like nothing, not even like a UTI, like nothing. She's a really healthy little cat, but out of nowhere on on Sunday night she started like acting way different, like meowing, like the distress meow, you know, that they do like when they're like going to the vet or like scared about something.
Yeah,
and
like yelping a little bit.
Like
Yeah, the
scary
yelp.
And
the help yelp.
the help yelp, yeah. And she started like behaving weird, like she started twitching, kind of like walking in circles, and so we took her to the urgent care that was open, and she had like a full-on seizure while she was there, and they said another one as well. So they got her on meds and kept her overnight, and we got her the next day, but she's still having little seizures here and there, little facial seizures.
God. And it like all just started out of nowhere?
Yeah, like out of nowhere, nothing, like we checked, like she hasn't eaten anything new, like nothing. And they did scans of everything, so like except her brain. So basically like it's not it's not like anything physical. It's all in the brain, which is very scary.
That is scary.
Yeah, and she's such a tiny little thing. It's like,
yeah, she's a forever kitten like Penny.
She is.
Oh.
Yeah, she's
My
just,
youngest cat's also a little forever kitty. She's so teeny beanie.
just a little sweet little tabby, and it's very sad and makes me sob every time she gets a seizure. I'm just like holding her, and I'm like, I'll take it. My brain is bigger. My body can handle this more than yours can.
Lila, your body would cause so much damage.
And I think that means I'm a mom. That's what it means.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, but I'm really glad I went in the middle, because now it's time to lift it up with Tina's funny cringe. What's been cringing you out, Tina?
Oh my god, it's so depressing and not funny at all. My cringe. Did I do a different one?
Nope. It's the vibe now.
Yep. Okay. So my cringe is just I said on the last episode that I've been having like a lot of anxiety lately.
I heard you say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of anxiety lately. And last weekend, me and my wonderful boyfriend Greer went out and had a really fun drunk night with Leela and Jason. We were having like so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
And then like sometime between when we left the bar and when we got home, I got like really in my head. And like, this is just so not like me, but like Greer and I started having sex and I just start crying in the middle of it. And nothing will panic a man faster. Like, am I hurting you? Like, no, it's just spirit. I'm just damaged spiritually.
No.
And it's like so crazy how like if your head's not in it, it's like, oh, wait, this isn't fun at all. Actually, I've made a mistake.
That hasn't happened to you before? Where you're like, your head's not in it for sex?
No, Leela, I'm so sorry. I mean, not really. Only if I like didn't like the guy, basically.
This girl's never had bad sex a day in her life.
That is not true, Leela. I told the Zach story on this podcast. Well, that wasn't sex though, so.
That reminds me of old Jenna Marbles videos that would be like distracted while having sex and you're just thinking about dinner or what you're doing later.
Tonight.
Yeah. Yep.
I miss Jenna Marbles.
So that was cringe as fuck. And then we obviously quickly terminated the sex and I was like still crying. And he was like, my sweet little drunk baby, do you want to go to bed? And then I felt like condescended to, even though like he was acting very reasonably. I was like, meh. And I just like grumpily got some Cheez-Its and went and watched Bob's Burgers before bed. So that's me. Really fun stuff. Hilarious cringe.
Wonderful choice.
I'll tell a quick cute cringe is Penny, my cat Penny. Well, this is hilarious. She has hyperthyroidism, so fucking funny. But she just is always starving no matter how much food I give her. And she has recently started waking me up at like 6 a.m. She doesn't really meow. She kind of like groans. So I wake up in the morning with her like pawing my face, being like, like right in my ear, and I'm like, fuck off. You don't eat until like 8:30. What's wrong with you?
That's why I got the automatic feeders. When my dad watched them when we were gone, they got spoiled.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would, but we live in a 3-cat household and they all eat different stuff.
That's hard.
Complicated.
I'm getting my own apartment soon, and Penny, she'll be able to free feed because, as I mentioned, hyperthyroid. I'm like, she's only 7
she
pounds.
Can eat how
I'm
much
like,
she wants.
Eat whatever you want, girl.
Yeah.
Eat whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, you. She's like, she literally, when I said that, she looked at the wall, the blank wall, like, huh? Who? Not me.
Grandma.
Oh my gosh. Let's get to today's work. Fawna has brought us, some might say, a masterpiece. Fawna, do you want to give us just like enough backstory for us to like understand when we start reading, maybe?
Okay, so this was probably some sort of history project from like 6th grade. Because my mom was very good about keeping all of like my little things and things she'd actually get a hold of from school.
Yeah. Those moms keep this podcast running, so.
Yeah.
All of my transcripts and like the good comments that were always me being a good student and wanting to clone me, and like teachers would literally say that, and so we have record of all of that. So if you find clones, blame my elementary school teachers. And so this was like a history project, and I guess we had to write in the perspective of someone during the Revolutionary War. And
okay,
I chose
don't give it away unless it's not. Do you think it becomes evident really quickly who you chose in the text, or do you think we should tell them?
I think within the title it'll give it away.
Okay.
Because
What's the title?
It'll give it away in the first sentence.
All right, let's do it. Let's let it reveal itself.
Okay.
Wait, do we have text that we can follow along with?
Yes. Well, do you want to flash the cover, Fawna? Oh, it blurs it out.
Oh shit.
No. My
name is Acoostics, a horse of a young colonial colonist.
This is like that 11-year-old me.
Well, and then acoustics is spelled Acoostics. Is that a spelling error?
No, I don't. This thing is riddled with spelling errors.
Okay, perfect. So we begin. Hold on. I'm so excited. This is so silly.
I haven't read this except looking at the general like concept of it since what was this 2005 maybe?
Yeah. Leela, will you describe like what we're looking at, like the way the material she needed to create this, you know, like what we're looking at?
Okay, so first of all, this is printed on a piece of nice paper. It looks like rice paper or some kind of scrapbooking paper for sure. It's made to look a bit weathered
For sure.
and let's see, there is a it appears to be a journal entry in a font that I definitely recognize, but could not tell you what it was.
I think it's called Blackadder. I call it the pirate font. Or maybe...
I don't know
actually,
if that's this is a little flowery.
You're right. It's something goofy, though, and old and timey.
Yeah.
And there's a lovely little illustration at the bottom of what appears to be
Not my best work.
some soldiers in
Fawna's a fucking
woods?
professional artist now.
Oh, it shows how much effort I put into this. And then I went, same year, won the art show for the school with a full-blown oil painting landscape.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Why don't you read this first page for us, Fawna?
Oh my god.
I love this podcast so much.
I'm probably not going to be able to hold it in while talking.
And if you hit any like spelling errors or like fuck ups, make sure to read it as it's written.
pronounce it as written.
Yeah. And then, they're there. Only on a couple pages, or like there's some underlines and I don't know why, but whatever.
Okay.
11-year-old me had a good time writing this. So, April 19th, 1775. Dear Journal, my name is Acoustics. I am the horse of a young man named Gregory Sampson. Today, the town of Lexington discovered that British troops from Boston were coming to destroy Concord supplies and weapons. Gregory and I stood inside the woods next to the entrance of Lexington. Next to us stood 69 other men armed and ready to defend against British troops. Down the road we could hear the marching of the soldiers. They marched closer to where we quietly stood. Once they passed the first Lexington defender, all 70 men and I charged at the British. Muskets were being fired. Men died and were wounded. After a short time, the British began to retreat back to Boston. That meant they lost the battle. We had won the battle of a new year. Of a new war. Not new year, a new war. That was it. I was about to say, did I write New Year? And this was April 19th.
I will say horse names have been on the mind lately because the Kentucky Derby was about a month ago now. And also one of my favorite podcasts, Hey Riddle Riddle, did a game today where one of the hosts made the others guess if they were reading a band name or a horse name, which was very fucking funny.
Yeah. I think I know why I wrote acoustics, like the two O's, is because we had a horse named Scooter. So I mashed that together. He was the really big one. He kind of looked like when my mom cut the front part of his bangy area, he looked like a beetle, just the way she cut it. Like he looked like Ringo, but he was a sweet horse. He just had bad knees and he couldn't walk anymore, but I think that's probably why I wrote acoustics.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because Scooter was my main horse at the time.
Yeah, listeners, Fawna and I are childhood friends, so I've known all of her many pets throughout the years.
Oh yeah, tons of them.
So yeah, so many. Literally so many. But so I think acoustics is a pretty normal name, even spelled this way, for a horse.
And that's the nickname. That's not their official, like, derby names or, like, bar names or whatever. That's what would be considered a bar name, not, like, their official paperwork names.
Gotcha.
Because if they're, like, fully registered, they get some wild-ass names. It's like dogs with the American Kennel Club. There's some intense names.
Really?
Yeah.
Dogs don't have the dignity to hold a name like that. Leela, what's your first impression in this first installment of the diary? The horse's diary.
The horse's diary is hilarious.
Can I read it in a horse voice?
Yeah, do it. Give us a couple lines.
I'm just thinking BoJack Horseman. That's all I can think.
Dear journal, my name is Acoustics. I give up.
Okay, no, I really like that.
I am the horse of a young. It's turning Yoda. It's going Yoda. It's going full Yoda. Abandoned ship. Yeah, it's the idea of a horse keeping a diary is very funny. I love horse girls. I feel like some of my best friends back in the day were horse girls. I just lived vicariously through them because I was like, can I have a horse? And my mom was like, you buy it, you know. Fair enough. So I'm getting that strongly here based on everything you've said in the last 2 minutes. Yeah, I feel like this paper smells of horsehair.
It smells of horsehair. Now, Fawna, do we have your permission to post this image on our Instagram?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the people need to see this illustration because let's see if I can zoom in.
Enhance.
Nope, sure can't.
Wait, maybe you can.
What?
Oh, it's the zoom as much as that zoom.
What could make it probably more cringy is to show some of the actual drawings I did at that age. Because this was a quick doodle.
A quick doodle. Tis but a doodle. Okay, so here's what I want to know. I pulled it up in like a whole different app. Oh, what's going on? What's going on with these soldiers' like necks?
I don't know.
What are they have like balls hanging down? Is that? Oh,
I think it's like their ponytails.
Oh, ponytails, like the powdered wigs.
Yeah. And I think their muskets are supposed to be like hanging off their backs or something or whatever. They got their little socks.
And I think that's probably like the trigger of the guns, but it looks like they have tiny little bubble butts.
Yeah, it really does.
Let's see. Is Gregory? I feel like Gregory Sampson is a person.
I think so.
I feel like real. I know that name. Do you happen to remember, Fawna?
No idea. I probably wrote this when we were at the farmhouse,
that's
and
not
I had
him.
made up names.
Hello, young man.
I was like,
Gregory.
what sounds old and kind of boring?
Old Morel? Gregory Sampson. Let me see. Yeah, Samson. I feel like that's a guy, but not this guy. There's some actor named Gregory Sampson. Let me see. History? Or like Bible?
Well, Samson's from the Bible, but...
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. Gregory's not from the Bible. Yeah,
Good
I guess
old
I don't
Greg.
know. Oh, yeah, there he goes. Samson, last of the judges of the ancient Israelites. Well, we will never know who Gregory
Samson
is.
was a judge? I thought he was a himbo. Yeah, I guess it
Maybe
could be
both. In the
Yeah.
olden days, they only had like 4 guys.
Yeah, true.
You could be both. Let's see. First of all, how could I possibly have missed 69 other men? Nice.
Noise.
That was really, I was like, oh.
I like how, I feel like this horse maybe like doesn't know he's a horse. He's like, yeah, me and all the soldiers went to war together. Didn't the other soldiers have horses too?
Is it like Lady
They
in
are
the
people.
Yeah.
Like cats and dogs think they're people, even though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Lady in the Tramp where they call the pets, the animals all call their owners like their pets?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh,
I
my
do
pet
remember.
was... Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe it was, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. But I feel like I've seen that in a couple places, actually. A couple talking animal films.
The language here is, I want to say clinical. I mean, it's not like, you know, just, it's just extremely factual. It's like, this is what happened. People died.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, who died?
That's the amount of history and creativity I could give at barely 11.
It's also like very passive voice. Okay, like first of all, who's doing all of this? The British. Muskets were being fired. Who? Men died and were wounded. By who?
Everyone.
British. The British.
And like, where this is supposed to take place in Lexington. Yes. Lexington is not close to Boston. So I think it's just funny that it's like, and they just said, well, back to Boston.
I feel like that is how it was in the olden times, though. It's like, well, the next city in this direction is fucking Boston. So
Let me
let's
look
go.
how far.
Get there 3 days later.
I feel like... Hold on.
Wait, where's Lexington? Oh, Virginia.
Virginia, yeah.
No, there is Virginia. No, there is a Lexington and Concord in Massachusetts.
Oh, never mind.
So So maybe okay. So this is all
How
Boston.
far
I mean,
is
this
Lexington, Massachusetts from Boston?
Fawna's doing some math.
29 minutes in car, but
That's only 40 minutes on horse.
Yeah.
That's basically nothing.
So
Yeah,
maybe
that's nothing.
I was somehow factually trying to find these things as a
For
child.
acoustics, that's a quick jaunt.
Yeah.
All right, let's do our next installment.
You know what's kind of funny? Speaking of acoustics, is our episode that came out, not this past one, but the episode before that it was about a song called Acoustic Harmony.
Acoustic Harmony. How could I forget?
But that was about Jesus, and this is about a horse.
Was I accidentally writing about Jesus?
You know, it could be. He is all around us or something.
It's all around us, including at the Battle of Lexington.
Okay.
All right, Fawna, we're ready.
Take it away.
This is June 17th, 7075. Dear Journal, now I, Gregory, and the troops of the Colonial Army stood on a hill in Breed's Hill. No idea where the fuck that is.
Are you telling me there's a hill in Breed's Hill?
We steadily waited for the British troops to march up the hill. Gregory sat on top of my back and wanted to fire. The troops were not allowed to fire at the 2,000 British troops until they saw the whites of their eyes. Gregory was the first one to shoot when the British were only 15 paces away.
Wow.
After their first attempt to conquer the hill, the British troops...
That's
yeah, I know. My brain was like, is that right? Is that wrong? The British troops retreated, and I was very skittish because a bullet almost hit me and Gregory. 30 minutes later, the British tried to attack again, but also failed. I was very sure that we were going to win this battle. While I danced around with Gregory on my back, the British made a third try. They marched up, and the colonial troops failed. Soon after, Gregory ran out of ammo for him musket. And so did many others. Gregory became frightened, and we quickly ran to camp on the outskirts of Boston, with many others following. I don't know why my teacher didn't edit this page when they marked other pages.
I bet the rubric was like spelling and grammar 4 out of 5, you know?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Like
I still suck at grammar. That's why you edited my papers in college. From 4 hours away.
Oh, man. Okay, so I love the art that accompanies this entry because it's a point of view from the point of view of Gregory. So acoustics is really like... He and Gregory are like synced. They're brain-linked synced.
It looks like you're in a Doom game where it's just you see the weapon in front of you.
Yeah, it totally. And we have the Breed's Hill, I suppose.
Where is Breed's Hill?
The very one.
Where is Breed's Hill?
The Breed's Hill.
Got some sausages in the sky. Looking pretty good.
So in the last entry, there was 70 soldiers, and this one has 2,000 British troops, and I just hope that there's a lot more British colonial soldiers, too.
I hope so. I said Bunker Hill. Okay, Breed's Hill. It's like Bunker Hill is not what I was looking for. Where is that?
That's in Boston, though, I think.
Yeah.
You know how I know that?
Because we've been there.
Oh, no, that's not how I know that. I don't remember that. I know that from playing Fallout.
Oh. Let me see the maps.
Oh, yeah. Fawna and I did totally go to Boston together.
That was a long time ago. And I think we did go through Lexington.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe
June
you.
17th,
we were stuck in the
75.
back of a tiny Camry.
Yeah.
I think, is the Battle of Bunker Hill... Oh, okay. So I see. So yes, the date, the facts are here. June 17th, 75.
The facts are here.
During the siege of Boston in the first stage of the Revolutionary War, it was the original objective of both the colonial and British troops, though the majority of combat took place on the adjacent hill, which became known as Breed's Hill. So there you go.
Interesting. I guess Bunker Hill just has a certain ring to it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's a good band name. It's just a good name.
Bunker Hill. Bunker Hill? I hardly know
I
her.
really know her hill.
At least my like relatively somewhat historical points in this is better than my grammar.
Yes, we're full of facts here, and I'm sure that was like the point. Is
Yeah,
that it
I
had
was
to
gonna
be, like,
say, this is
historically accurate.
some kind of
Probably,
history
as
thing.
I found parchment paper that was probably actually for resumes.
Well, it looks like something that somebody in the 80s would have printed like wedding invitations on.
Yeah.
Like it is.
Yeah.
It is really. Or it looks like did either of you ever do a project where you like used a tea bag to like stain a paper to make it look old?
Not
and
in
you like
school.
would burn the edges a little bit perhaps, and your father would perhaps freak out about fire inside the house. Perhaps.
Valid point, though.
So true. I like how this starts. Now, comma, I, comma, Gregory, comma, and the troops of the Colonial Army. Like, girl, you gotta let those words breathe. So many commas. All right, let's read. What's our next date?
July 14th, 1776.
Ooh,
so
time
a
jump. Yeah.
Big jump.
Over
I
a
see
year,
a
right?
couple
Yeah.
grammatical corrections in there.
Yeah.
Look at that. Your
Couple
teacher finally
underlines.
woke up.
Yeah, circle. Missing a letter, capitalizing a letter, underlining. Oh, yeah, I didn't say combine someone. It's 2 words instead of 1 word.
Okay, first of all, wait, read it, and then
yeah.
I'm gonna disagree with your teacher, but read it first.
Oh, okay. July 14th, 1776. Dear Journal, today is a hot and sunny day. I am very tired and sweaty from the sun beating down on me, but the fresh green grass and creek water is very refreshing. Today at the camp we were staying. Wait. Gregory and I received a note that said that a declaration was signed by many men. It was signed on July 4th, which was 10 days ago. I was being
Sure.
It was being sent to the King of England to read. It said that colonies wanted to break away from Great Britain. When everybody went into their tents for the night, Gregory had an opinion about it that was driving him mad. He just had to tell someone. He told me because I couldn't tell anybody. If he had told someone else, it might cause conflict. He slowly and quietly whispered in my ear that because of the declaration might cause the battles to become even more violent than that ever.
This is my favorite one.
This is like when I'm mad at a friend and I'm like, Penny, you'll never fucking believe what she did. Penny's like, I don't speak English. But,
Well, there's a reason horses are used in like therapy sometimes.
So true.
Okay,
and
but this
Acoustics
horse
does speak English.
Yeah, but and this horse fucking writes all your secrets in the
the
journal.
Oh my god, Acoustics journal fell into the hands of the British Army.
Like, what the fuck is going on? How is a horse?
Okay, here's where I disagree with your teacher. Well, I mean, okay. So she circled the King of England because you have the K and King lowercase. Now, I do think perhaps it would be capitalized, but I also think that if you are in active rebellion against the king,
Like, fuck them.
you're gonna lowercase that. That's a lowercase king, not an uppercase king.
I could feel like the same thing could be said about capitalizing G in God. Is it capital? Is it really?
Oh yeah. Oh shit. It's in Percy Jackson when they're like, Percy, we're gods, and he's like, you're God, and they're like, whoa, we don't fuck around with the capital G God.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about that.
I also feel like King of England. If you said King George, right? Who's
Yeah.
the guy?
crazy
from
one?
No. At
Hamilton?
this time, it was.
You said.
Oh yeah, it was George.
was
I
George.
watched Hamilton.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, was it George?
So if you said it was being sent to King George of England, then I feel like it would definitely should have been a capital K, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it just says the King of England. Like when we're saying the President of the United States, do we capitalize
Yes,
the P?
yes, we do.
We do?
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
Oh,
it's like
man.
a title. You're supposed to capitalize
I think
it as a
POTUS
title.
is technically capital.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little
No,
dramatic.
it's like, yeah, it's because it's like a title of honor, you know?
But They were rebelling against England, so they get the lowercase k.
Yeah, fuck you
those
guys. Lowercase
Whoa,
k. Like, you're a
jinx.
king, but you're not the king.
I like when he slowly and quietly whispered in my ear. This is what I'm thinking. Okay, first of all, it's not a secret. I think the declaration might cause the battles to become even more violent. That's like his big secret, which is very funny.
What would have been even more if I was like, nah, this bitch gonna rebel against the Americans. He's like, nah, I'm out.
I know. But no, he was just sharing a general sentiment. But he slowly and quietly whispered, so this is probably was his... because this declaration of independence is going to cause the battles to become even more violent than ever. And that's how it goes. And
You know, he was out of breath because he's fighting in the
Long
heat
days.
of summer.
This is
July
the middle
14th.
of July
Hot
in
summer.
Massachusetts.
in the
Yeah.
clothes and wigs they were all wearing.
Oh, God,
so much
yeah.
wool.
What if Gregory Sampson defected from the
Oh, no, the horse
the
defected.
Patriot Army, but then the horse stayed. The horse was like, "What happened to your principles, Gregory?" Let's take a break, Fawna, to talk a little bit about your like writing history. Now, you mentioned that you're still perhaps not the best at like spelling and grammar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you? And you did this for school. Did you
Yeah.
ever write for fun? Like, is that something that you're more of a visual artist? I know, but like, tell me a little bit about your writing history.
Yeah, I did some like goofy little short stories in middle and high school I've showed you in the past and stuff. And they're put away. I really do want to pull some of them out and go over them. I know I've kept them. It's just where they are in my townhouse.
Sure.
I have a couple ideas where they might be. It's just finding them. Because there was that one other one I was talking to you about the other day, and I was so mad I couldn't find it. It just like disappeared from like the other things that I had.
I get
but
it.
yeah, I've done some short stories, and there's one I actually, honestly, have always wanted to like actually make good and write a children's story because it's kind of goofy. I'd like to do that, but I haven't touched those since high school.
I feel you. The writing passion, it comes and it goes. You gotta catch it when it's there. And if it's not
most
there,
of my
you're
writing now,
fucked.
honestly, is for the podcast and honestly doing more research on history and religion and the witchcraft and stuff. So it's a little more formal.
That's a lot of writing.
It's a lot of writing. Like I will, between just even like copying and pasting things, I'm also like editing, taking like links, taking sources, and like taking more of the college research style bit and making more of the rough draft part and having the rough script for the podcast. So that's also a lot of writing. So I've probably written thousands of pages over the last 4 or 5 years just for the podcast and research.
And for those who haven't listened, a lot of Fawna's podcasts are just her talking about a subject. So it's like, that is a lot of words to get down so that you know what you're saying. I'm always very impressed with your episodes. I'm like, damn, this bitch knows what she's talking about.
I know. And I like, even though some of like the actual hardcore content is only like 15, 20 minutes maybe, because that's still a lot of fucking time to talk staring at a screen into a mic by yourself trying to have a normal conversation and not seem fucking insane.
Totally.
Like, I can't even imagine what it sounds like downstairs to my husband when he's just hearing me talk about these crazy things. And he's just like quietly trying to like make dinner or something if he got home from the gym. But I also like the amount of sources I go through between web and like articles and journals, and even I pull sometimes medical research into and psychology stuff into some of the episodes for people to look up themselves, because of course I'm not a medical professional, I'm not a religious like studies professional or anything, so it's just like so much research just for a bare 20 minutes. And I've even had someone be like, it's not enough, and I'm like, oh,
fuck you,
that's a lot of stuff to do just to prepare for 20 minutes.
Yeah, no shit.
So that's what you're gonna get. So I'm like, I appreciate people's honest reviews on it, but at the same time it takes 4 times as long to collect that information as it does to talk about it when it's completed.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, we got 1, 2, 3 more pages.
Yeah, what's the next date?
Okay, the next one is September 19th, 1777.
Okay, so we've done another over a year time jump.
This one's
and
crinkly.
this one's crinkled. No picture, just crinkled. Would have been really funny if I actually like got some dirt hoof prints and put this on it from the horses.
I would have
Because
died.
we've had like 4 to 5 at a time, and if I just or took like an old horseshoe and rubbed it in the dirt and put it on this, like on a corner, like that would have been hilarious.
That would have been fucking funny.
On like these
I
empty
love that.
pages. That would have been really funny.
Yes.
Okay, we got September 19th, 1777. Dear Journal, another day, another battle. Sounds like he's over it. We were standing in a field in Saratoga in front of British troops. The British troops were all dressed up in red. Our troops in blue. This was one of biggest battles yet. I feel like I missed a word there. The drummer boys began to beat their drums. Gregory grew scared, and his cold sweat hit my back. Ugh. While me and Gregory stood in the back row, the commander in front gave orders. The British began to walk forward. I could hear their footsteps march towards us. Then so did we. The British were the first to shoot. Men in the front rows fell to the ground dead. Then we shot back, and British soldiers died too. The pattern repeated many more times until there were only a few rows in front of us. The colonial troops halted, and then I saw the British retreat. On top of my back, I heard Gregory gasp in relief and said that we had won.
I like that you spelled rose like
Yeah.
like
Roe,
the roe you get
R-O-E.
on sushi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fish eggs, yeah. Yeah.
It's only one letter different,
It's true. Same with red. There's only
Yeah.
one letter different.
but added versus subtracted.
yeah.
Yeah. I would
I
have
kind of
such
gave
a
up on pictures at this point. I don't think I
said,
drew any
"Fuck
more
that."
pictures. Yes,
That's why you crinkled it. You're like,
I crinkled it. I
add
needed
a
some
little something.
creativity.
Yeah.
I should have
Visual.
burnt the edges or something. Or like spilt like red juice on it to look like wine, like a horse was drinking.
Well, and it's funny because if this is
I can do it now. I have wine right now.
if this is a journal in a book, how did just this one page get crinkled, but not all of the rest of them?
Maybe someone was coming in as he was writing it in the horsey barn, and he just like tried to like cover it and got all wrinkled. This was written in 1777. Who knows what's happened since
Who
then?
knows what's happening? Maybe all journals were loose leaf back then. Oh, Gregory. Yeah, he does seem tired. He's like, yeah, they shot, then we shot, then we shot each other. Okay. Yeah, it carried on that way.
Yeah, because apparently, like, proper warfare was neat in an orderly fashion. They hadn't quite all been introduced to guerrilla warfare.
True. Well, and also it took them 90 full seconds to reload their muskets or whatever.
Yeah, hold on a
Takes time
second.
to build it. Hold on.
Second.
Time out. Time in.
Do you remember anything about like how you chose these dates, or are these like
No
notoriously?
fucking idea.
No, I
Yeah,
think
may-
they're real. Like I think they're the like
I
they're
need
real
to go
battle
back if
dates.
these are actual like battles. I know there were battles in like Boston and Lexington, but there had to have been a couple each. So the chances of maybe that being it, and I picked maybe a handful because this one sounds like it could.
Saratoga. Is that Florida? No, that's Sarasota.
Oh, I also was thinking. I think Saratoga's in New York.
Oh.
Yeah.
I also was thinking
Let
Sarasota
me see.
per our episode, "The Princess of Sarasota," about Caroline
course.
Calloway. Yeah, but, well, I was just wondering, like, because of the big time gaps, I'm like, were they not fighting the war for a year? Did
Maybe there was a lot of travel. Maybe there was a lot of healing. Who knows?
Gotta get your clerics on the field.
Maybe there's some sickness.
I would have such a hard time if I was an elementary school, middle school teacher correcting grammar, because, like, there's grammar. You got grammar wrong in here
This
that
horse
she's not
probably
correcting.
wrote a lot better than most of those colonials.
But, like, footsteps is one word. She didn't correct that. But she's
Yeah,
like,
the choices of what was corrected and not corrected was odd.
it's odd.
Yeah.
Okay, we got December 15th, 1777.
Ooh, cold.
Especially if they're still in New York. All right, this one's not crinkled or...
Nah, this is a basic bitch page.
She got bored of this project.
Okay, December 15th, 1777. Dear Journal, me and Gregory are staying at Valley Forge. This is the coldest winter in a long time. The temperature is freezing, obviously, if it's cold. Lakes and rivers frozen. The ground snowy, slippery, and cold. Or cold. The fires by the troops' tents don't help. I can't even feel my 4 hooves.
You have 4 hooves?
Men die every other hour. They die from frostbite, lack of food, water, and warmth. Gregory has caught a bad cold. I hope it doesn't get any worse. Oh no.
Oh my god.
Many men wish they could be with their families and in their warm, cozy homes. For me and Gregory, we would be lucky just to survive the freezing winter. Damn, this horse is getting
I know. And your
it's getting
teacher,
rough.
your teacher did not touch this page.
And I was, no, not at all. I think this teacher is like, shit, is this child depressed?
Oh my god.
I remember Valley Forge is the password to hack into the system in National Treasure.
Yeah, because what's his cutie McCutie Riley is using his computer skills to try to crack the code, but Benjamin Franklin Gates' brain works a little faster than that, Riley idiot. He hit the L twice. It's Valley Forge. God, let's watch that, Leo. Let's watch that soon.
I was just gonna say.
I
now I
haven't watched that movie in forever.
It holds
When
up.
did
It's
that
so
movie
fun.
come out?
Like 2001?
No,
No way.
2005 or 6, I would say.
Oh, this came out in 2004, so there was probably a chance I probably also saw this movie at the same time.
Oh, hell yeah.
That'd be really funny if National Treasure actually...
It is a 2004 film.
Yeah, that's wild.
You were like, ooh, I've heard of Valley Forge. Whatever that is.
I could have actually gotten a history minor in college. I took so many history classes. One of the main professors actually thought I was a history major, but I didn't take one for a semester, and I came back. He's like, is everything okay? And I was like, what? I was like, oh, you thought I was a history major? Nah, I'm an art major. Those are extracurriculars for me. And I have to write, I take art history classes and your history classes, and if I paid attention, I probably could have gotten a minor.
Damn. And for what?
I just didn't pay attention.
So that you could become Benjamin Franklin Gates.
I mean, I feel like I was the same way. I took some history classes, and mostly just because I went to a liberal arts
foreign language.
school, but I quickly found out how much work it would be to be a history major, and I was like, nah, I'm not about that life.
Not about that life. You want me to remember
Spanish.
Numbers? Absolutely not.
No, I mean, it's the memorization's not as bad for me. I think it was the amount of research and writing. Like I like writing, but like it's so many. It's all papers. That's like all history
I like the research
writing
part.
papers.
I don't like the writing part, even though I do that every week for a podcast.
Well, yeah, but that's like your thing. You know, it's different when it's your thing.
If you guys could be a historian, what time period would you focus on?
Oh wow!
You can't say the Roman Empire.
I wouldn't. There's too much there. Instead of like a time period, I think I would probably have focused on maybe like women's health throughout the ages or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's a crazy one. Even
Maybe
just
like
within
women's
more
health.
modern times too.
Yeah, maybe like women's health in antiquity around the world.
I have a lot of interest in bog bodies. You know, them bog bodies.
The
they
history
found
of bog bodies.
in the peat.
I love that.
I just like think that's the type of like hands-on history that I always wanted to do.
Cool.
And I am definitely more interested in like anthropological, like human history than I am necessarily with like science and plants and stuff. Although that stuff is awesome, but like there's something about just like even going to like I don't know, like Jamestown and like places like that, I go and I'm just like, whoa. This is cool. There's girls that were just like me here, probably.
American girl.
I would probably study religion, like the history of religion.
Wow, which one? Just all of them?
Yeah, like Abrahamic or general.
In general, like get like a theology degree,
Yeah, that could be really cool.
and then from there I could like spin off into like occultism and magic and witchcraft and just weird shit.
Yeah.
Because there's a long history of it all around the world from different cultures and perspectives.
Yeah.
Called witchcraft or not, the magical practices of cultures with religion in or without it, or just how it's evolved would be really cool.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yep. Okay,
Okay.
so 77. We only got one left?
Yeah, this was another
Or two
time
left.
jump. One more. This is October 28th, 1781. I had a couple year time jump. When did the Revolutionary War finish? 83. 83.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, this ended for Acoustics here. Hopefully he got sent home. Okay.
Yeah, he needs a fucking break. Oh, we got the teacher
Yeah, I
back
don't
editing
think this page
one.
was his... Yeah, I don't think this page had a historically accurate date unless I miswrote the date just by looking at it. Yeah, this one's not historically accurate on the date. Okay, October 28th, 1781. Technically, the war finished September 3rd, 1783.
But yeah, I mean, how did anyone find out? It took a long time, I'm sure.
That is true. That is really true. That was very common where, like, it took a while for word to get around. But I don't think I knew that then. Dear Journal, now that we have the French Navy and Army on our side, our chance of victory was sure to come. They had their ships in a Virginia harbor to block British troops from leaving back to England. Their army was with me, Gregory, and other troops. Okay, my brain didn't process that for a second.
Oh, it's the past tense, I think.
Yeah. I steadily stood next to two French horses.
Oh.
They were much better pampered, but I knew they did not have the love I did, which made me feel better. And
Oh
I
my
will
God,
witch as W-I-T-C-H. So now we know how he's writing. He's a witch. He's a witch horse.
Which horse?
Okay. After an hour waiting to see British troops, they finally came. They came in from one way, then our troops slowly blocked their way back. Then every person was given the order to step out of the woods and surrounded the British. They were trapped and had no way to turn away, and then they surrendered to us. They had no way to win. Cornwallis, the British commander, ooh, I name dropped a big one, was so embarrassed that he sent his own troops to surrender to our commander, George Washington. Another name drop. Ooh. A few of his men gave Washington his sword to show that they surrendered. In Yorktown, Virginia was the place where a long war for freedom finally ended. When was that?
Dude, your teacher just is picking and
Yeah,
choosing.
cherry picking.
You really did.
Maybe your teacher didn't want to, like, crush your spirit too much, you know?
Just, like, destroy this page.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, so the Battle of Yorktown was October 19th, 1781. This was the 28th, so he wrote this journal a couple days later.
He had to sleep. He was so tired.
How was I, like, paying attention to the date details at 11 this closely?
I love that.
Shit, I should have gotten that history degree. Damn. I was probably 2 classes away. And I had one class the entire last semester senior year, and I fucked up. I didn't count. I didn't pay attention. I fucked up. Decided to work.
Ugh.
Oh. Not even an internship.
I love these French horses. They're like,
They're pampered, but they
do
don't
you need
have the
some
love.
help with the English? Yeah, we hate them too.
Oh.
Yeah. We are the pampered horses.
Why does... Well, we don't know. I was going to say, why does
This was
Acoustics
a long time
think
ago.
that they don't have love? That's not very nice. Maybe their fancy Frenchmen aren't capable of love or something. I don't know.
I don't know. It was probably their attitudes. They're like kind of prissy, like,
These French
I'm
horses
kept
have
in a
never
barn all
known
day.
love or friendship.
I'm not let out into the pastures.
Oh.
That's so funny. Meanwhile, Gregory, all he's ever done to show love was whisper a little secret.
But earlier it sounded like he was in Gregory's tent. He's like, nah, it's cold up there. You come on in, Acoustics.
Gregory's like, horse, get in here. I need your body heat.
Yeah, surely. Ooh,
Like,
itchy horsehair.
I need snuggles.
Leela, what has your favorite part of
This was
Acoustics
funny.
journal been?
I think I liked 2 pages before this.
Sure.
I need to see it to know
The
what
crumple?
I'm talking about. I don't know. Let me see.
There's Valley Forge. There was. What was this one?
No, where's
Was
the
this
one
a
where it was
specific-
like, and that was 10 days before this. I liked that one.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, the
Some-
Declaration of Independence one.
it's something about the you know that episode, the influence episode famously of Even Stevens, when
Yeah.
she has forgot to research the project, but she knows the date. That's kind of like what this is giving. It's like, what else can I say? It was July 4th, which was 10 days ago.
We signed the
not to-
declaration on July 4th.
14th.
Not July 14th, but 10 days,
earlier.
earlier.
Yeah, I liked it. I like the implication of the horse whisper.
Horse Whisperer.
Yeah, you know, Gregory's a little dramatic, a little flair for the dramatic. He's like, I want my horse to know how epic this is, and so he's like whispering.
His therapy horse.
He's slowly and quietly, like, why is he slowly whispering? Is he like, because of
He's probably half dead at this point, just barely surviving.
yeah.
Fawna, did you tell your mom we were recording together?
I've told her we have in the past, not specifically today.
She's FaceTiming me right now. She's never FaceTimed me in my life.
That's so funny. It might be an accident. Maybe. Let me see if she's tried to call me.
That's so fucking funny.
Because she was trying to find, like, a vinegar spray earlier.
The vinegar spray.
Yeah.
That's
I had to
so
clean some
funny.
stuff up at her house the other day. She's like, where'd you put it? I'm like, I don't know, under the sink.
That's, if you didn't tell her, that's very random. But if you did tell her, then
That's funny.
that makes sense.
That's very funny if she didn't mean to.
Yeah. Well, she texted me and said thinking about you, and then immediately FaceTimed me. So I actually think the FaceTime was an accident.
Oh,
but
she recently got stuff for your brother to send down there for
my
the
brother's
baby.
baby.
Yeah, she was
Nice.
texting me about that earlier. She was buying some stuff.
Nice.
I know, like
my
my
mom
best friend
also
just had
was.
a
They
baby.
must have been
Like
talking to
he's
each
having
other.
a baby. Yeah.
The old gal pal grapevine, you know.
Yep. Once my mom knows
travels.
someone's having a baby, a birthday, a party, she's like, I'm gonna spoil everyone.
Oh, I should send her my registry for my new apartment
right.
for my birthday. I think my favorite part is when at the very first sentence when it says, "Dear Journal, I'm a horse named Acoustics." That's so good. What's he writing this with? His mouth?
Yeah, and like a paintbrush.
Or is he actually whispering to Gregory and Gregory's writing it?
Oh,
God.
shit.
Remember,
The
he
horse
was whispering
goes
the
both
mutual
ways.
whispering.
That.
Horse whispers.
Or Gregory is psychotic, having a breakdown from the
Oh,
war,
no.
and writing in the perspective of Acoustics.
Oh my god,
there is-
Acoustics is not even there.
I was going to say there is
Oh,
no horse. There is
Even
no
worse.
horse. Like the little kid from The Matrix. There is no horse.
Oh no.
Well, this has been very fun. Usually we have like high drama shit, and I really like getting a nice like
I
historical
need to find some of my
school
other
project.
funny shit. It's like all written on like lined paper, like about a burrito. Like one of the stories I vaguely remember is from a trip we took, and some of the adults had issues with other people eating food, like eating the other person's food. And
Oh, I
I wrote
see.
a funny little thing about that.
Fauna, did you ever read like Dear America, American Girl Dolls, anything like that?
No, because I never had them. Because when I wanted those American Girl dolls. It was like Felicity was like the Revolutionary War one, and now she's worth thousands
Williamsburg.
of dollars when it
Williamsburg,
would have been
Virginia.
like
It's not worth thousands
maybe-
of dollars.
Maybe
Like,
the
some of them
original.
are.
Maybe the original
the
ones are.
original
Leela.
ones are. Yeah.
Okay, not the
At
new
the time,
ones.
I wanted them.
Now it's
Okay,
worth.
I think they brought her back.
Yeah,
I
that
wanted
makes sense.
at the time when we were little, you had American Girl doll or two, and I was like, I want to collect them because I wasn't a kid who like roughly played with my dolls, Barbies maybe, but like normal ones. I was like, oh, these are collectors. These are things you like take care of.
Yeah.
My mom was like, no, you're not going to play with them. I was like, they're collectors.
They're not for playing.
I want things. Let me get the things, the
Yeah,
trinkets.
I had fucking 4.
And
which
then
feels
she
like
bought
too
my
many.
sister a crap ton of them. So the first one I actually
What?
bought was for my niece.
Oh my god, what did you get your niece?
I got her just like a blonde hair, brown eye one to match her.
I gotcha.
For Christmas a couple years ago.
You never read Dear America? There were those books.
I read the Molly doll.
That's
Okay.
so crazy.
I read Molly's book. I think I actually got that from you. I read.
That makes sense because I had Molly.
Yeah. But I really liked Felicity. I liked the whole.
It's easy because
thing.
we grew up really
I
close
watched
to
a lot
Williamsburg.
of We did. I'm actually going in a few weeks.
Cool.
Taking my niece.
Oh, that's cute.
And my sister will be going, of course, with her daughter and me. So we're going to be going to that. That'd be really cool. But I do want to go back down there because apparently there's like a meadery where you can also test honey.
Ooh.
Ooh, that sounds fun and delicious.
Yeah,
sounds
I
really
go down
fun.
to Williamsburg like once a year or two for like a girls' afternoon of like wine and shopping.
It's a little closer to you where you're at. It's about 4 or 5 hour drive with traffic from here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Awful traffic.
Well, any last words about acoustics? The
Oh my god,
horse,
this shit
his
was
journal?
fucking funny. I haven't read this since I probably wrote it.
Leela, what are you researching, girl? I can see it in your eyes.
It just reminded me of that I wrote a really bad one-act play called Pre-Prom, and I was seeing if I could find it in my Gmail, but having trouble. It's for another
Okay,
time.
look harder for that later, because I say no more. I'm obsessed
I
with
might
it.
have to buy a Mac so I can get those other files off of my
Right.
old Mac
We're
external
worth
hard
it.
drive.
We are
$4,000
worth
later.
Leela, you want to take us home with our
Yes.
little game? LOL.
Let us play. Fawna, what are we calling these letters? This collection of letters?
I've been calling it Acoustics Journal.
Acoustics
Yeah.
Journey. Oh no, Acoustics Journal.
The title is My Name Is Acoustics, a horse of a young colonial colonist.
Okay, got it.
Wait,
Say
we
no more.
didn't mention the colonial colonist in the title. That's very funny.
Okay,
Oh my
Fawna,
God.
do you think that My Name Is Acoustics, the horse of a young colonial colonist, is horny, sad, or just plain bad?
Oh, it's just plain cringy bad.
Yeah, I
Leela?
agree. It's
Yep,
just
me
plain
too.
bad.
It's just,
It's just plain
so
bad.
goofy, and it's just like when you're a kid, you're like, yeah, this shit's great. I'm
a writer.
genius.
Yeah. You're like, my teacher's gonna cry when she reads about how cold we were
Honestly,
at Valley
one
Forge.
of those dark pages about people dying my teacher did not touch. I'm like, oh. Oh, this child's writing about death? Okay.
I'll correct
She
her
watches too
spelling on a
many
different page.
documentaries. Too many documentaries.
Fawna, tell the listeners where they can find you on the internet.
Okay, so you can find me on my podcast. That is in Cat's Tea and Witchcraft. You can listen to it pretty much on all the major podcast places like Spotify, Apple, and some of the other ones like that. And even some really obscure small ones I found it on when I do occasional Google searches. I'm like, what the fuck is this? From like different foreign countries, they have their own like little platforms and stuff, and apparently it connects to it, which is kind of cool.
We love that.
But also, you can find me at Cat's Tea and Witchcraft on Instagram. And then I don't use X much anymore for many reasons, but on Threads, because it's a little more connected to my Instagram, it's Cat's Tea and Witchcraft as well. So that one I'm a lot more active on. But also, you guys can send me an email if you have any questions about anything or interested in certain topics or resources. I don't click on links. I don't click on files because that's a safety, like cybersecurity thing. But I do actually respond to emails that are regular emails if anyone's interested in the topic. And that email is Cat's Tea and Witchcraft podcast @gmail.com. If you don't put the podcast part in there, I'm not going to respond. It's not going to get to me. So.
Sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Fawna. This has been a very silly little delight. I loved it. I loved this piece.
Thank you.
A little jaunt
I had a
with
fun
acoustics.
time. So fun.
Yes.
That's it for Burn Before Reading.
Until next week, remember,
Your cringe is part of you.
but just a small part of you. Thanks for listening to Burn Before Reading.
Created by me, Christina Kahn.
Hosted and produced by Christina Kahn and me, Leela Hilton.
Logo designed by Michael Hardison. Follow him on Instagram at RoyGBivRVA or check out his work at wildlingpress.com.
Theme music by Sakura Wishes.
Find me online at Christina Kahn.
And find me at Leels for Reels.
Follow the podcast on Instagram and Tumblr at BurnBeforePod.
Or feel free to give us an email at burnbeforepod@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening, friends.
See you next time.
Deus Ex Media.